Me name is Jim Parkinson, Hull's where I'm from. Some call me a hero, some call me a bum. But I'll sing you a song, the way songs should be sung. Of the heroes that fished off of Iceland.
William Cox, retired crab fisherman here at Cromer, fisherman for 50 years, and I've now been retired 4 years. Father and brothers were all fishermen, and grandparents, and for many generations, and so that was all I wanted to do. In my family, that I'm the end of the line of the Coxes, and a good friend of mine, he's got 2 sons. His family have been fishermen for decades years, and neither of his sons have gone to sea. But we're not the only ones. There's other families as well that way.
My name's Abel Rogers, a shareman am I, on a 3-mast.
My name is John Davis. I'm a crab fisherman from Cromer in Norfolk.
My name's Billy Gaff, Cromer fisherman.
I'm Andrew Webster. I'm an inshore fisherman from Cromer.
My name's Michael Love. I'm a fisherman.
I'm Andrew Magg, and I'm a fisherman.
We know that crabs and lobsters have been caught here for hundreds of years, as mentioned by Daniel Defoe, the writer of Robinson Crusoe in 1724. The reason that the Cromer crab is famous, it's said that it's tastier than other crabs around the country. It's certainly smaller, so I think local fishermen will say that it's got more flavour as a result of that.
This time of year, you've been working every day through the summer. You get to this time of year and you have had enough. But time you get end of February time again, you're ready to go and looking forward to starting again. You have good days in the summertime, which pay for your winter time, hopefully. Mortgages and things, they want to know exactly how much you're earning every week. I couldn't tell you what I was going to earn from one day to the next. I've got a rough idea, but you get a week of bad weather, that's the end of that week's money. Pots are talking nearly £50 a pot. The frame, just the metal frame, is £27. Net, you buy a big sheet of net, that's 80 odd quid, 100 quid. Just like the plastic rings and the spinners and things, they're 50 odd p each, they all add up. Well, the cost of things, that's a big part of it. To get set up, that costs a lot of money.
Well, I don't think you'll ever get a big industry like that was years ago, because you ain't getting nobody else coming back into it. No youngster taking over it. Because I can't see anybody saying, oh, I've got to get a boat and be a fisherman.
I mean, if you get them that come out of school and say, right, you're going to sea, they say, I ain't going out there, it's cold, wet. I prefer to sit in there and play on a computer and do that, wouldn't I?
I think the younger generation don't like the hard work. It's as simple as that. You get probably 10 or 12 years time, half these books be gone. You know, there's me, there's young John Jonas who's along the beach there, he's the same age as me, it's 2 days difference. Apart from that, I think that's it. We're the youngest ones down here.
To my mind, it's a different generation now that they're not looking for a lot of hard work, and perhaps I've put my son off in the past by the fact that for perhaps 3 or 4 months of the year you're not actually earning any money, so there's a financial aspect to that as well.
We were lucky the other year because we done them, but that was funded through Seafish. Well, I think the money's ran out now, so any youngster now coming into the job has got to take all these courses, and I think they're nearly like £100 a time. You're talking like over £1,000 to get all your tickets to go, you know, before you can even go. To buy a boat now and licence and that, you're talking well over £20,000. Then you've got all your gear as well. It's a lot of money to start up. You get a few fishermen retire, but there's hardly any youngsters coming into it. So in another 20 years' time, there may be half a dozen. That could be it.
When you get a day where you're being thrown about, people say to you, how do you describe it? What's the best way to describe it? Well, if you get a top chef in a kitchen, in a busy kitchen, a top restaurant, put him on a set of roller skates, and then tell him to do his job, that's about what it's like when we're out there.
In the hall this game must go. Rowling witches, oh. Mr. Maynard's told us. Rowling witches, oh. Rowling loud and step and go. Rowling witches, oh. Rowling loud and step and go. Rowling witches, oh. Mickey was a captain.
Southwest 5 or 6. Decreasing 4 later.
That's how it is nowadays, you know, the job is not getting any easier, and I think it's a job you've got to like and enjoy, and that's why I think I'm quite fortunate. I do enjoy my job. There's very little else I'd want to do. You know, there is a lot easier ways of earning a living nowadays without going to sea, and not just the physical side of it, but there's more red tape, rules and regulations, licences, quotas, all sorts of reasons for youngsters possibly not to go into it. And nowadays, you know, the world is a far smaller place. You know, there's much more choice, and not like years ago when fathers followed their sons followed their fathers in the family business. You know, there's so much choice nowadays.
My name's Kevin Jonas. I run my company Jonas Seafood Limited from this little site in Mill Lane in East London. I've got a lot of family members that work for me. Yes, so my 2 of my nieces work for me and my sister-in-law works for me. But we employ up to 20 people in the summer, so there's about 5 or 6 still of the original sort of family members that still work for me. Yeah. For fishermen to operate as a standalone boat, it's okay if they go to sea and then process their own catch and maybe sell them to a few local pubs and restaurants and places like that, or from their house even. But but just to go and catch and sell live product, which is, if you're just talking about exclusively being a fisherman, as I would see it, there isn't really the profit in that to sustain, you know, a living wage, especially going forward. From the fishing point of view, I mean, it is a really tough, hard job, and I think there are too many. You've probably come across this before. There are too many other avenues for children, for youngsters to go down into, rather than go to sea and sort of scratch a living out of getting up at sea at 3 o'clock in the morning, getting knocked around and getting soaking wet and freezing cold. It's okay if you're earning a large reward, but if the rewards are poor, you're not going to get people come into it. So really, yes, that handed on generation to generational thing has really died out. Really, yeah, always dying out.
It's not just Cromer, I think it's all around the coast, to be honest with you. There are a lot easier ways to make a living nowadays. It's hard work. The whole tourist industry around this area is centred on the crab, isn't it? So, yeah, that would be a problem. But I can't see it ever come to an end. I mean, even, if the fishermen thin out and there's only a few, those few are going to have a huge opportunity, as I say, you'll have to assume that someone else will come along and take it on. Just because our families look as though we're going to come to an end, it doesn't mean to say it doesn't stop anybody else from doing it, does it? If you've got a boat and you've got a licence and you've got the know-how to go and do it, then you're entitled to do it. My youngest son has sort of shown a bit of interest, but now he's probably going to pursue a cookering career, so... It would be a shame, wouldn't it? Yeah. If there was none of us left, that would be. But families do come to an end and the times move on.
It's up with the dawn with your sea boots on and down to the Yarmouth Quay.
Daniel Defoe, author of Robinson Crusoe, said while on a walking tour around Britain, "Cromer is a market town close to the shores of this dangerous coast. I know nothing it is famous for, besides being the terror of the sailors, except good lobsters, which are taken on the coast in great numbers, carried to Norwich, and in such quantity sometimes too as to be conveyed to London."
It's a horrible shame that has slightly disappeared in my lifetime.
As soon as I left school, I went to sea, but I was messing about with different fishermen going to sea probably when I was 8.
When I was a young lad, I used to go down on the beach at East Runton and watch the boats come in, and I had a word with Robert Brownsell, who's a fisherman down there, if I could go to sea with him in the school holidays, and that's what I'd done. I asked him and went for a trip.
Before I can really remember, I've got pictures of me at sea and my father, almost a babe in arms, really. So, that's all I've ever known and all I've ever grown up with.
And unless there's new blood come into the fishing now, in 15 years' time there ain't going to be none.
I hate to think that will disappear.
I think it's just living so close to the sea and just going down there all the while, enjoyed it. Kept going.
If you lifted a pot in and there was a fish in it, likewise if you had lifted a pot, you could lift a pot and there'd be 2 good lobsters. Another time you'd lift it in and there's 1 baby lobster, That's all as you expect something good, but it ain't always good, but you still enjoy it.
It's a way of life. It's just a way of life. For most fishermen, it's a way of life more so than anything.
I don't think I could do anything else. It's sort of